Good afternoon, friends. We've got a really exciting jam-packed hour planned for you today, so we are going to dive right in. My name is Michael Bobbitt. I'm the Executive Director of Mass Cultural Council. We are your independent state arts agency, and we are charged with bolstering the Commonwealth's creative and cultural sector. I'm very excited to welcome you today to our new Spotlight series. This is a new offering we are excited to launch this year to curate information and build awareness about opportunities and resources that may be of interest to the creative and cultural sector. And to launch this series, we couldn't have thought of a better partner than the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism. In addition to introducing themselves and giving you a brief overview of what they do, they'll also be talking about their new Massachusetts 250 Grant Program. This is targeted funding for the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism to support the 250th celebration. We highly encourage you to take part of this opportunity, stay connected with the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism, and think about your programming in association with the 250th anniversary and the swell of tourism that will come to the state for this 250 celebration and other events happening in Massachusetts. We're so grateful that the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism have made time to join us today. But I just wanted to give you a few housekeeping notes before we get started. First, know that this webinar is being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel in the coming days. Auto-generated captions are turned on and active for anyone who would like to utilize that service. You'll find the button to turn that on at the bottom of your screen. Finally, we ask that if you have any questions throughout the course of this webinar, please use the Q&A feature rather than the chat. Please use the Q&A feature rather than the chat. We find that things can often get lost in the chat. So use the Q&A feature and that will help us to try to get to all your questions. Now, I know we've got a busy agenda for today, so I'd like to turn things over to Kate Fox, the Executive Director of Mass Office of Travel and Tourism, to kick things over. Kate.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks so much to everybody at Massachusetts Cultural Council for inviting us at MOTT to present today. I didn't realize we were the inaugural Spotlight webinar, so I hope we answer all your questions and put a great foot forward for this new program. It's an exciting initiative for MCC to be doing. I am going to hopefully not awkwardly share my screen. And then I'm going to go through a little bit of an update on what the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism is. And then my colleague Sheila Green, who's the coordinator for Massachusetts 250, is going to jump in and talk about Massachusetts 250 and the grant program that we have just launched. So I am sharing. And come on, from beginning. Here we go. All right. So the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, otherwise known as MOTT, is the state agency dedicated to promoting Massachusetts as a leisure travel destination. We publish the Massachusetts Travel Guide and several other publications. We just came out with the Massachusetts Ice Cream Trail, which was a collaboration with MDAR and the Massachusetts Dairy Promotion Board. We've also done a Massachusetts Wine and Cheese Trail, the Women Trailblazers Trail, Applechusetts, highlighting our apple farms. We have a lighthouse trail. All of these are available on our website, visitma.com. And Visit MA is a free resource for businesses that are tourism facing. So if you are not listed on visitma.com, you can go to the website, and on the bottom of the homepage, there's a link to add your business here. And you can create a profile, add your business, add your events. We do approve them on the back end, so it takes 24 to 48 hours for them to go live, but it's free, and we would love to promote all of your businesses across the state. You can follow us on social media, Visit MA on Instagram and X, and Facebook is Visit Massachusetts. Domestic visitation in Massachusetts has finally exceeded pre-pandemic levels.
I'm sorry to jump in. This is Christian. I think we're having issues with your slides. We're just seeing your PowerPoint window. We're not seeing the slides.
No. It says that I'm sharing. Okay, thanks for letting me know. And let me try to stop
If you,
share. See, I said it was going to be awkward. So
there
what
you
are
go.
you,
That's it.
Kristen, are you
That's it.
seeing the about MOTT slide?
Now we are. Yes, you're all set.
Okay, so hopefully I'm going to advance. Do you see
Yep.
my tourism data slide?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so our economic impact data, calendar 23 to calendar 22, we saw international, which is about 10% of our tourism, is expected to be higher for 2023 because we saw international flights and traffic go up about 30%. Our domestic impact, which is 90% of tourism to Massachusetts, is expected to be flat or a little slightly up 2023 over 2022. We've seen modest increases, and I think that's consistent with what a lot of people were seeing on the ground after the surge of travel, returning travel after the pandemic. Things domestically flattened out a bit, but continues to be strong. We have 6 pillars. Can you see my 6 boxes now? I hope. We have 6 pillars that we focus on at MOTT. One is the domestic marketing. We launched a new domestic marketing campaign in June called the Made Possible campaign. I call it a Mad Libs campaign, where the first line of the campaign will switch out depending on what we are fitting in. So whatever is made possible in Massachusetts that applies to travel and tourism and promoting our arts, culture, natural resources, and history, we are putting those ads in print, digital, and creating video for the new year. We're also doing public relations and familiarization tours. Familiarization tours are free or reduced cost tours that we arrange for travel media or members of the travel trade. And we work with our 16 regional tourism councils on those familiarization tours. If you are not, wherever you are, if you're not working with your local RTC, Regional Tourism Council, we encourage you to do so. They are the first best line of marketing and promotion for the different regions across Massachusetts. And that goes for international marketing as well. Our primary markets are Canada, the UK, Germany, and France. We work with Discover New England, which promotes international travel to all 6 New England states. And we also work with Brand USA, which does international marketing on the national level. We do travel agent training with travel agents in Germany and the UK, and we are currently running digital campaigns. In the fall, we will start some print campaigns in the UK and Germany as well. For Massachusetts 250, Sheila's going to talk more about that, but what we are looking at for the next 2 years is elevating and amplifying the statewide commemorations that are already being planned around the semi-quincentennial of the American Revolution and celebrating everything that's happened in Massachusetts since. And we're really looking for creative applications for that celebration of Massachusetts 250. The 250th campaign, marketing campaign, is themed around the concept of our first 250, what we accomplished since 1775, and what we're going to accomplish next. Of course, the American Revolution really kicked off in Massachusetts. Prior to 1776, we had the anniversary of the Boston Tea Party last year, so that was a 1773 date. And most of the battles happened in Massachusetts in 1775, ending after the Knox Trail moved the artillery from Fort Ticonderoga to Dorchester Heights in December through March of 1776. And so lots of work going on around the 250th. We have a new website, Massachusetts250.org. If you are doing anything in the 250 space, connect with Sheila and let us know so we can help promote that. In film, we're developing a new strategy to promote film and increase film projects in Massachusetts. We have Director Meg Jarrett of the Massachusetts Film Office working really hard on working with location producers and managers to bring more film projects in. If you work in the film space, please connect with Meg. You can get to her through us and let her know what you're doing, and check out the website at mafilm.org. Governor's Conference in April, we brought back the Governor's Conference after a 10-year hiatus, and we are so excited to have a sold-out crowd, 450 people here in Boston. We're planning for March 2025 to bring it all back, and we'll be announcing the location and more information in the fall. It'll include industry updates, professional developing, networking, and more, and it's going to be a day and a half for 2025. So we're going to get to spend more time together as an industry, which is really exciting. And last, sports marketing, just really quickly, we support large scale events like Army Navy, FIFA World Cup, March Madness, and regional events that have statewide impact as well, and are developing a statewide strategy. So Massachusetts does not have a sports marketing commission. A lot of states do. It is part of MOTT. So that's something that we're standing up and putting more emphasis on for the next couple of years and going forward. We have several grant programs we run through MOTT. One is the Destination Development Capital Grant. We just announced the fiscal 25 DDC grant award winners last week. Our Regional Tourism Council grant supports the 16 regional tourism councils across the state, and that is in process right now. We're also in the middle of a 2-year travel and tourism season extension grant. These were $1 million grants that went to 6 super regions across the state to increase soft and off-season travel to Massachusetts. And so we're halfway through the 2-year grant programs, and the marketing and public relations being done through those TTSE grants has been really exciting to watch and support. We also work on legislative earmarks that come through MOTT and need contract management. It's not something that we do directly. It's something we're very reactive for. And then the Massachusetts 250 grants. And I'm going to turn it over to Sheila to talk about MA250.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, hello everybody. It's so nice to be a part of this, and as Kate said, to be in the inaugural spotlight. So Massachusetts 250 is celebrating our country's 250th birthday and the birthplace of our nation, which in most states will be taking place in 2026. But for us, a lot of it's happening in 1775. As Kate mentioned, there's a lot of battles that took place in 1775 in Massachusetts, and we want to commemorate those. And then we also want to look at the last 250 years. Massachusetts has been home to some of the most incredible and innovative firsts. The first public garden, first university, first public schools, and first legal gay marriage, and so much more. So it's a really exciting time in Massachusetts, and it's an exciting time to celebrate our culture. Be sure to check us out on our website, which is massachusetts250.org. If you have a particular event or something that's a commemoration or an exhibit that's taking place that represents the 250th, please be sure to send your information to me, and I'll make sure it's posted on our website. Follow us on Instagram at Massachusetts250, as well as on Facebook at MA250. Next slide, Kate. Oh, I think she's...
Hold on, I'm trying. It's not going forward.
That's okay, no worries. Thank you.
There you go. Did it move?
So, thank you. Yep, we're good. Okay, the Massachusetts 250 or MA250 Grant Program anticipates awarding up to $1.5 million in fiscal year 25, subject, of course, to funding availability. This competitive grant program will award funds to support programming and interpretation to tell the stories of the American Revolution in Massachusetts. It will increase tourism and travel to and within Massachusetts. The grant process opened on July 24th, with applications due August 26th. Grant awards are anticipated to be announced in September of 2024. That's subject to appropriation. Grant funds may be spent by June 30th, 2025. So all information about these grants we will speak about it this afternoon. You can also visit our portal at visitma.com/MA250-grants. Next slide. So the applicant eligibility, any municipality, public agency, tribal entity, or nonprofit organization, 501c3, 501c5, or 501c6, which is operating in Massachusetts, can apply for these grants. Municipal applicants must be in compliance with MBTA Communities Act, Section 3A of MGL-C.40A, if applicable or required to be eligible for funding. All applicants must be in good standing with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and must be current with all taxes due through December 31st, 2022. All applicants must have a valid state license or registration if it's applicable, and applications must be complete and include all required documentation and be submitted through the online portal by the deadline in order to be considered. And that deadline again is August 26th. Yeah, August 26th. Next slide, please. So those not eligible to apply are for-profit organizations, any organization whose sole or primary purpose is to fundraise, public colleges or universities, and entities that receive state-level operating support or non-project support directly from the Massachusetts General Fund. Organizations not located in Massachusetts are also not eligible to apply. Next slide, please. Types of projects and eligible expenses. So eligible projects will have a direct connection to the American Revolution in Massachusetts, connect to historic themes of the Revolution and independence, celebrate the significant firsts in Massachusetts history that make our state so special, and or take a creative or innovative approach to commemorating and celebrating the nation's semi-quincentennial. Grant funds can be used for programming and marketing. The MA250 grants, next slide. The grant awards range from $5,000 to $100,000. And applicants must demonstrate how the project will increase domestic and or international leisure travel to and within Massachusetts. Next slide, please. Ineligible expenses. So these include, but are not limited to, the following: expenses incurred or obligated prior to or after the funding project period, annual operating expenditures or overhead expenditures, for example, rent or utilities, etc. This is ineligible expenses also include salaries, bonuses, or fringe benefits of personnel not directly related to the project. No more than 10% of the grant may be spent on administrative or marketing salaries. It cannot be used for prize money, gift cards, scholarships, awards, plaques, t-shirts, uniforms, or certificates. Entertainment expenses, including food, beverages, alcohol, cannabis, or tobacco. Ineligible expenses include legal fees, insurance liability, insurance and or membership fees, mini grants or reallocation to other organizations, or any expenses not related to the described grant project. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what's important for this application are letters of support. So each application must include 3 different letters of support on official letterhead, one from a civic or business leader, one from a state and or municipal official, and one from an area tourism business owner. These must be scanned into one document and submitted through the online portal by the grant deadline. Letters submitted after the deadline and letters that are identical in wording will not be considered. So they really have to be 3 individual letters from these 3 different entities. Next slide, please. So the review criteria, so 25% of the application is going to be considered with vision and clarity. So you clearly want to show the scope and vision of your project and how the MA250 grant will continue your vision. Demonstrate the value of that project within the community that can clearly articulate what the project is trying to achieve. It's important to articulate outcomes and deliverables of that project. Describe how your project relates to the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution in Massachusetts. The tourism impact will be 40% of the criteria. So show how your business, visitation, economic and/or financial, of the project will be measured. Show clearly how it articulates the impact of the tourism economy. Show a clear target area of focus within the tourism sector with metrics and background, and articulate why tourists would choose your destination. Okay, next slide, please. So continuing on the review criteria, alignment and partnership is 15%. So you want to clearly show how the project is consistent with community plans around economic development in the tourism industry. Describe involvement and support of relevant stakeholders. Leverage public dollars with private funding, maximum public-private funding ratio. For ability to execute is 20%. Show the clarity of the budget and matching funds. Matching funds are not required, however. Appropriateness of the timeline, including that it will be ready in time for the 250th commemorations, most of which are happening in 2025. To include permissions, permits, and internal support, make sure all those elements are in place. So next, how to apply. The next slide, please. Access the guidelines and application at visitma.com/MA250-grants. Applications must be submitted electronically along with all attachment through MOTT's online application portal. Applications must include all required documentation by the program deadline to be considered for this grant. Application deadline is 3 p.m. on August 26, 2024. If applicants are having any technical issues, they must contact the MOTT office by noon on Monday, August 26th. There is an option to save the online application once you have started filling it out. Once you have completed and submitted your application, you will receive a confirmation from Submittable. Applications cannot be edited once they are submitted, and multiple applications will not be accepted. So the last slide is a thank you. Summary. So the summary applications are due August 26th, 2024. Projects must be completed by June 30th, 2025. Matching funds are optional and encouraged. Tell the stories of the American Revolution and/or firsts in Massachusetts to increase tourism and travel to and within Massachusetts. And guidelines and links to online applications at visitma.com/MA250-grants. And the next slide, I think, is there one more slide or is that, there we go, thank you. So we are now going to open this up to questions and answers. If there's anything, there's a lot of us on the call, so if we don't get to your questions or answers, please feel free to reach out to me at sheila.green@mass.gov, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So thank you.
Go through, I've been doing some, while I was advancing slides, I was answering questions. I have one question. Are there partners that your orgs work with that specialize in disability travel and accessibility travel? And that is something that if you want to shoot us an email, you can email me at kate.fox@mass.gov. I can provide you more information. It's something that we address on a case-by-case basis. And then a follow-up question regarding film partner. Will the film partner factor audio description and open captioning for all films and media content? And that is not something we can require of independent film projects coming to Massachusetts, but certainly something we're aware of, and I will flag for our film office partners. There was a question about letters of support. Can letters of support be from leaders that are part of the nonprofit if they fill one of those three roles? So, i.e. a board member of a nonprofit. I think so. I think that's fine. If you have a board member who is also a community leader, then that's fine. They can submit letters of support. And I know in my past life, when I was with Destination Salem, I used to write lots of letters of support. So the next question, did you state the entity applying is not eligible if it receives funds from MOTT or MCC or a state agency? So it's not a question of eligibility. The applicants are eligible. But we do take into account how much funding, as we're reviewing grant applications, how much funding people have received from other state agencies. But don't let that prevent you from applying. I think more the merrier. Lots of questions about the deadline of June 30th, 2025. That is the end of our fiscal year. And so grant funds need to be spent by June 30th, 2025. And ideally the project will be in place. That is not our decision to make. That is a decision given to us by legal. And can a nonprofit partner with a for-profit travel and tourism organization? I think so. So yes, and if you want to email us or connect with us offline to review a specific example, we're happy to review it, but the application needs to come from the nonprofit. Are any grants available for LLCs and or individuals? And so it's only for nonprofits and municipalities. If you're a for-profit LLC, you would not be eligible. If you're a nonprofit LLC, shoot us an email and we will run it by our legal department. Letter qualification, does the tourism business within the Chamber of Commerce, tourism business 501c3 within the Chamber of Commerce, a 501c6 qualify to write a letter of support? Yeah, I think that's fine. So if a museum is writing a letter of support for a Chamber of Commerce application, that's fine. And would consideration be given to partnerships between institutions? For example, if two museums wanted to collaborate on a joint project? Absolutely. One of you needs to take the lead on the application, but we love collaboration, so go for it. That sounds like a great idea. And just curious, why do you not extend the complete project date for July 4th, 2025? Because our fiscal year ends on June 30th, and there's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. So if the I am gonna run this by legal though, and just make sure if the money isn't spent by June 30th, if it's spent by June 30th for a program on July 4th, I will run that by legal. So anybody who has that question, shoot us an email or join us for our webinar on the 250 grants tomorrow. And hopefully we have a, I can just confirm that answer. Is this presentation different from the one scheduled for tomorrow afternoon? Not much. The Q&A might be a little bit different, but it's basically a very similar deck. Do you encourage collaborations with local government and nonprofits? Yes, we do. What constitutes an area tourism business owner? So tourism and hospitality would be a museum, a restaurant, tour business, attraction, anybody who's in the tourism and hospitality. I mean, it could be a gallery that has a lot of tourism business coming in. We define, if this is helpful, a tourist is defined as somebody who travels more than 50 miles or spends a paid overnight. So look at who the business is catering to, and if they're catering to travelers who are coming from outside of that 50-mile radius, then I think that they are a great fit for this.
Can I also add, Kate, the RTCs are a good resource for that as well.
Oh, great point. Regional tourism councils, please reach out to your regional tourism council. There's a page on visitma.com that breaks out our regional tourism councils, or you can shoot us an email. We can send you the breakdown of where they are. It's Greater Boston, north of Boston, Merrimack Valley, North Central Massachusetts, Central Massachusetts, Metro West, Hampden County, Hampshire County, Franklin County, the Berkshires, the Cape, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Southeast Coast, and Plymouth are the 16. I think I got them all.
Kate, can I add that I really encourage arts organizations to become members of the Regional Tourism Council. We're going to be meeting with them soon to see what we can do to support you all to do that. But they're great marketing groups in your region. So I highly encourage you all to become members of those regional tourism councils. And also Mass Office of Travel and Tourism has a site called Visit MA that you all should have your own membership to.
Thank you, Michael. You can encourage people to list on Visit MA and participate in their RTC programs as much as you want. We encourage that. So thank you. Can our project happen in October 2025? It's a citywide event called Sarah Bradley Fulton Day. I would love to know who Sarah Bradley Fulton is and what the event is, but unfortunately for this grant program, it does need to be in our fiscal 25, which ends June 30th, 2025. I will, depending on where you're located, if you're a member of your regional tourism council, some RTCs do have mini grant programs that might help if it's outside the fit of this grant program. Given the everybody wants to spend the money in 2026. Given the requirement to spend funds by 6/30/25, is it possible to use the FY25 grant for planning for our public programming that will take place in 26? I think it needs to be spent on marketing and promotion or programming in fiscal 25. I don't think an application for planning, unless you are doing the marketing for a 2026 event in fiscal 25. I'm not sure it'll be a strong application, but happy to talk offline about that question. And if you want to join the webinar tomorrow, we will source some more information from legal and finance on our teams before we do the 250 grant webinar tomorrow, and have better answers about the timing there. Ecotarium has a bicentennial in 2025. Can we apply to the second oldest natural history museum in the US after Philadelphia? Do we apply at this time also? If it can tie into the 250th or around the themes of revolution and independence, absolutely. I think that's great. And there was another question that I answered in the chat while Sheila was doing her presentation. And it asked about the difference between Massachusetts 250 and Rev 250. And Rev 250 is an independent nonprofit organization that's been boots on the ground for 10 years or so, doing amazing work around the commemoration and the history pertaining to the American Revolution. We as the state are coming in as a marketing umbrella. So MOTT is a marketing agency, and we are here to help the tide rise and lift all boats. And so we're partnering with everybody who is doing programming around the 250th specifically for this call, and looking for not only the historic reenactments and commemorations, but also for the creative interpretations around the themes of revolution and independence. And I'll throw democracy in there too, because that came up in a meeting I had earlier today, that we really want to make the connections between the history, or we want to see people make the connections between the history and Massachusetts today, and really celebrate Massachusetts through the lens of the 250th. So that's what we're hoping this grant is going to do. We want it to support the history and the commemorations, and also we'd love to see some creative ideas and creative approach for the 250th.
Kate, I think Sheila's slide said that the pending funding, so the funding hasn't fully been approved yet. Is that right?
For which
Or is it
slide?
approved? I think maybe I misread it or misheard it. But I just wanted to say to everyone that this grant is open now, so don't anticipate the next round of funding, like apply now, even though it's
Yeah.
only 3 weeks away. Don't wait.
We know we have this grant funding. I have no guarantee we will have grant funding again in fiscal 26. So that it's, yes, exactly. Is there length of or character count recommendation for the application narrative other than be concise? I would say, just be sympathetic to the people reviewing the grants who will likely have a couple hundred grants to read. So the fewer words you can use to be concise and get your message across in the strongest way possible, the better. I think we're going to have a tremendous amount of response. And I do anticipate this is going to be a highly competitive grant. The DDC grant we received, grants asking for $17 million and we had $6 million to give away. So there's a lot of need for funding out there. The timeline for planning, execution, and spending is very short. It's possible to use the grant to fund the start of a program. So let's say research planning, commissioning, a play or a script, and then public readings. I'd say go for it. We'd love to consider it. And but the funding has to be, the work has to be done in fiscal 25 and the funding has to be spent. So there's a lot of interest in this and we'll have a look on that timing piece, but it sounds like a great project. So I would love to say we want to consider it. Can we, same question, apply for a theater piece now and look for a second grant next fiscal year? Yes, but don't assume there's going to be a second grant in the new fiscal year. Can grant funds be spent to enhance accessibility? So that's usually a capital project, and we've given several destination development capital grants to businesses that use it to enhance accessibility. So maybe contact us offline and we can talk a little bit more about that. We aren't focusing on capital projects with the 250 grants. It's really more programming and marketing focused. May our project include a collaboration with Rev 250? Dartmouth Heritage Preservation Trust has already established a partnership with Rev 250. Absolutely. Yes, we love the work Rev 250 does. I've answered this already. Who is considered a tourism business owner? Hotels, museums, attractions, tours. How do we quantitate the potential tourism impact in our application? What specific criteria are you looking for? Can examples be provided? I would provide website traffic. Where are people coming from, and measure the year-over-year, month-over-month impact of where people are coming from. I think that's the easiest for a lot of businesses. If you are able to work with the Regional Tourism Council to get additional economic impact data, we encourage you to do that. There are a lot of subscription services out there that track cell phone data and will tell you how many people are coming to your community or your business and can track month over month, year over year trends. But that's the type of thing we're looking for. We want to know how many people are traveling more than 50 miles or spending a paid overnight, and how are you increasing those numbers? If the city, I have an MBTA Communities Act. So Sheila, if you and Charlie, who are sitting together, can help me answer this, that would be appreciated. If the city has filed for the MBTA Communities Act, but has chosen to wait until October to submit the zoning, is that too late?
If you're currently in compliance, you're okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Charlie.
Area tourism businesses, I have answered. Does it matter where the nonprofit is located in Massachusetts? No, as long as you are located in Massachusetts, we want everybody from all 351 communities in Massachusetts. If one is awarded the grant in 25 for an event happening in 26, is it possible to deposit the check in anticipation of making actual payments in 26? No, this has to be spent by June 30th, 2025. If a funded project takes place in a college, is that permitted if the college is the rented site, not a co-sponsor? Yeah, I think that's fine. Charlie and Sheila?
Yeah, it's only public universities that are not eligible, but it sounds like this is just the location of their particular event. So it's, yes, that will work.
It's like a budget expense.
Right.
Yep. I am an independent filmmaker not represented by a nonprofit or municipality. Is anything available for someone like me? You would need to partner with a nonprofit. Can you clarify online for the letter of support what might qualify as errors in we're going to develop an FAQ, I think, out of this, and we will post it on our website because everybody has questions about what a tourism business owner is. And do reach out to your regional tourism council for help there as well. In regard to no duplicate grant apps, if our city applies, can our nonprofit apply for a separate project? Yes, that's fine. We receive, like, in any normal grant cycle, we will receive multiple grants from a community for different projects from different people. Will tomorrow's presentation be significantly different? No, I don't think so. And should I plan to attend that one, or will it mostly be a repeat of the information presented here? I think mostly a repeat. We will record it. The only thing that might be different is the Q&A. We are a small nonprofit with no specific experience with promoting tourism. Any advice? Connect with your regional tourism council, or if you have a local chamber of commerce in the tourism world, connect with them. And if you don't know who those people are, shoot us an email. We would love to help you figure out the best direction to go in. Can budget categories be anything we want besides ineligible costs? I.e., could it be a range of staff, time, supplies, honoraria, programming costs, et cetera, or only costs related to programming and marketing for the project? Sheila, can you answer that one?
Yeah, it's only costs related to programming and marketing. It does not include any payroll at all.
Can the funding be used for historic preservation? No, that would be a capital grant. And this is programming and marketing. Did you say that the 501c3 municipality can partner with a for-profit entertainment hospitality business? You can. The application has to come through the 501c3 or municipality though. And buying ads be included in our grants. Yes. That is a marketing expense. We will ask you to put the Massachusetts 250 logo on it, so take that into consideration as you plan your design. Because we will give you a very concise and lovely logo and funding credit to go on any print or digital or video edits. Regional tourism, 2 orgs that Michael recommended you join are the regional tourism councils, and go to visit ma.com and add your tourism facing businesses with a free listing. I think those were the 2, right, Michael? Oh, good. I got this backstory on Sarah Bradley Fulton. She was a Revolutionary War heroine, and she has been nicknamed the mother of the Boston Tea Party. She acted as a spy for General Washington and set up a hospital for the injured patriots from Bunker Hill Battle. Shoot us her story, because we are collecting unknown stories or undertold stories of the Revolution. And so that could go for Sarah Bradley Fulton or any other stories that you might know of pertaining to the Revolution. We are building a list, and the Massachusetts250.org website will be expanded to include content around those untold stories, as well as new blog sections that's coming soon. So share your content so we can help to get it out there. Sheila, you want to take some of these? We've got 49 open, so we'll keep ticking through them until 2 o'clock. And if we don't get to your question,
I'm happy to curate if you want, but also I'm hoping you can talk about the anticipated tourism coming in the next couple of years, so that people can really think about I mean, even if you don't get the grant, you also think about your programming around the 250 and to see, because there's going to be a lot of people coming, a lot of people spending money. We want to make sure you're not left out of all that revenue coming to the state.
Yeah, and I think, we're looking at statewide growth, and we also, as MOTT, we're launching the MA250 campaign in September. That'll be a 2-year marketing campaign. And we also just launched the domestic marketing campaign. That's the Made Possible campaign. So we are doing a lot of marketing and putting a lot of resources into inviting people to come to Massachusetts. And we would love to make sure that we're connecting them with the creative economy, the creative communities statewide. We can't promote what we don't know. And we have a wonderful staff of 14 people and 351 cities and towns across the state. So there's a lot of value to being the squeaky wheel in the tourism industry, because you need to put us on your media list, tag us in your social media posts, and share your content so we can share it out and be aware of it. I will say, from the MOTT perspective, I'm always looking at stories that can be told across regions. So if you can help us connect the dots between your business or your project and similar, either in nature or thematically similar across different regions, my rule of thumb is, does it hit 3 regions? And if it does, I want to promote it. If it only hits 1 region, then I want to connect you with the Regional Tourism Council. We are anticipating a steady growth of tourism, inbound tourism, over the next couple of years. The the international inbound numbers from 2024 have been significant. It feels like we have a new direct flight to Logan Airport every week. Most recently, direct flights to Austria just started. So lots of people go in to get their Sound of Music on, and people coming here to go, see the Von Trapps in Vermont, but you can't go to Vermont without going through Logan Airport. So how can we capture people who are traveling New England and encourage them and invite them to spend more time in Massachusetts? We will, in the fall, release an economic impact study, updated economic impact study that'll have more numbers associated with it about tourism. I will mention as well, for 2026, in addition to the 250th nationally, we will have FIFA World Cup. There are 7 World Cup games happening at Gillette Stadium, including a quarterfinal on July 9th. And then we have Sail Boston. So the tall ships are coming to Boston as their last port of call on the 2026 regatta, and they will be in port July 11th to the 16th. They anticipate 1 million people coming for Sail Boston. And in association with the FIFA World Cup, there will be a fan fest in the state that they anticipate will draw over 500,000 people during the period that I think it's between like June 9th, it's beginning of June to the beginning of July. So it's 38 days of fan fest. So there are going to be a lot of people coming in from all over the world. Some know Massachusetts and some don't. And so we encourage everybody to get on board with us as we're doing our marketing and be part of the Massachusetts story that we're extending to the world. And I just saw somebody put in the chat, Bradley International. Bradley has direct flights to Ireland, and it's an amazing gateway to Western Massachusetts. So that's, I'm going back to the Q&A. We're a nonprofit. We train local youth in broadcasting. I love that. TV production. We also have media department. Yeah, if you're a nonprofit, yes. If you are developing a program specific to the 250th, absolutely. We would love to see your application. Given that most of the grant will be used for organizing, partnering, and marketing, and overall executing, why is there a 10% cap on salary line item for folks who will be accomplishing this work? Where else should we list the money is going? To the marketing, the advertising, the production, the other costs affiliated with the project. If it's a website that you're developing, then those costs Are there previous projects we can see? This is our first MA250 grant program. So I don't have previous projects that you can see that are a direct fit, but other programming grants that we have given, like the tourism season extension grant or some of the mini grants that go out for regional tourism councils, have supported things like advertising campaigns and brochures and websites, and public relations efforts. So there, if you want more specifics, reach out and we'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Can a public college or university be a partner organization versus a lead applicant? Sheila and Charlie?
Can a public college or university be a partner organization versus a lead applicant? Yes, absolutely a partner.
For-profits are ineligible even if it's through a nonprofit fiscal agent.
Eligible even if it's through a nonprofit.
As the for-profit can be a partner, but the nonprofit needs to be doing the project.
Yeah, we'd have to know the particulars of the project to be able to answer this one. So I would say apply or reach out to us at the time and offline. Mm-hmm.
In terms of scheduling, how soon will the funds be available? We're hoping for the fall. We're hoping that we're going to move this grant program through pretty quickly.
It's government money, you all, so like
Takes longer than you think it's going to.
Things change.
So no salaries at all are allowed, or salaries involved in the programming. For example, our museum educators who might be carrying out a program, a percentage up to 10% of the total. So is that right, Sheila? Salaries can have a 10% cap. So you can put salaries in up to 10% of the total cost. I've already answered this. Can a nonprofit apply for the same project with MA250 and MCC and a city's cultural council grant?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you can. I was thinking about revolution. Is the connection strictly in terms of the armed political conflict? Charles River Museum is marking the 250th birthday of Francis Abbott Lowell, who started the Industrial Revolution here in Massachusetts and beyond. Bring it. I want to see that application. We have a cannonball that took off somebody's head during the Battle of Bunker Hill, as well as a wealth of other material culture from the battle. We'd love to pay our lovely unpaid intern to create an exhibit around these resources. If you're marketing and promoting it, yes, you can use the funds for this type of thing. Yeah, you should pay your intern though. Something, give them something. Would the cost of Revolutionary War monument be an acceptable expense? Is that, it's sort of capital.
Yeah, that sounds like a capital expense. I mean, you can apply to C, but it sounds like a capital expense.
But reach out, let's talk. Because it's definitely a fit as well. Are tourism calls to action required in this project, or can it be creative, informative film media project about Massachusetts history and revolutionary history that does not specifically instruct people to visit Massachusetts? Well, yeah, I mean, if it's an awesome project about Massachusetts, the invitation is going to be implied. People will want to come here. So yeah, I think that's fine. Are stipends considered the same as salaries? Yes, they are.
Got through all the questions. You did it. I'm sure your inbox will be flooded tomorrow. But I just want to thank you both for joining us today. I hope you all in the cultural sector see that we have a great partner in the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism. I encourage you all to come deeply connected with them, especially through visitma.com. Also get to know your regional tourism councils. If you're looking for support on marketing, the work that you're doing, they are the experts. Stay tuned to Mass Cultural Council's Spotlight series that will happen once a month. And also, if you haven't seen our opportunities and resources pages that we link in our emails that come out once a month, usually around the 24th of, usually somewhere in the month, I forget what date, but check those out because those have lots of opportunities for not only grant programs outside of what Mass Cultural Council offers, but also professional development or convenings and stuff like that. It's a great resource. Kate, Sheila, is there any other parting words?
I don't think so. And the timing of this webinar made us lean into MA250. We have lots of other things going on. So you can sign up for our industry newsletters on, it's the same page that you can join the website. And we would love to share what's happening here. We won't spam you, but do sign up for our information, reach out with any questions, and we'd love to work with you all.
And think creatively is what I'd like to say.
I'm also going to say these are not Mass Cultural Council grants. So while we're happy to forward emails to Kate and Sheila, it's best that you reach out directly to them. Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all so
Michael.
much. Great. Yep. We'll post this on the website, everyone. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.